A very different picture is unfolding at the Cape Town International Convention Centre. That's where President Cyril Ramaphosa has now arrived to give the keynote address at the African Union-AIP Water Investment Summit, which has just about kicked off. Let's take you there live, take in perhaps what's taking place there in the lead up to the president taking to the podium.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. IT, there's a special message that has been recorded for the leaders, our leaders, heads of state and government, from Dr. Ban Ki-moon, which is just 1.5 minute video. Can you please flight that video right now?
His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, President of South Africa and Chair of the 2025 G20 Presidency, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to address you today, albeit virtually. At the outset,
these are live visuals we're beaming to you from the Cape Town International Convention Centre. You'll forgive our shot there. It seems there's still a few steps to be taken before the president takes to the podium for the keynote address at this particular summit, by the way, which is aimed at essentially plugging the infrastructure funding gap, water infrastructure funding gap, by the way, which is currently said to be at about $30 billion US. You could see there several number of heads of states, including Duma Boko from Botswana, was able to spot King Moswati as there, sitting with President Cyril Ramaphosa in the lead up to his keynote address. The idea, once again, is to ensure that there is water security, economic growth, and sustainable development across the continent by addressing these concerns around this infrastructure gap, which, as I mentioned, is said to be at about $30 million US. A number of other heads of states may very well be present, but we haven't necessarily received confirmation. But I know, for example, that His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed, Hassan Sheikh Mohammed from Somalia might be there. Paul Kagame is on the program as well, also set to be present. And we've also, as I mentioned, spoken about Duma Boko, who is also there. What is also worth pointing out for you, as you can see from the signage in the room, is that this is actually held in South Africa because of the country's G20 presidency. In an official statement, they say this aligns with their priorities of rapid and inclusive growth, poverty and hunger eradication, and climate sustainability. It's hosted by South Africa and the African Union, and South Africa, as I mentioned, really at the helm of this through our Water and Sanitation Minister in Phemi Majodina, because of our hosting the G20 presidency. The minister is currently on the podium now, and I imagine at some stage the program will also be led in part by João Lourenço, who is the current president of the African Union. Once again, as soon as we hear from President Cyril Ramaphosa, we'll try to take you there live, and hopefully by then we'll be able to really get a sense of what he reckons the direction should be in order to raise these funds in order to plug the infrastructural gap.
His Excellency, the President of Botswana, President Bogo Duma. His Excellency, the former President of Tanzania, President Jakaya Kikwete, who is also an alternate co-chair of AIP High Level on Water Investment. Those who are representing their presidents, I'm just getting a proper list to about 10 that are here as leaders of delegation representing their presidents. We have 38 ministers of water in the continent. We have 5 more other ministers responsible for water that are coming from other continents. We have our ministers from South Africa who came